Pokemon Platinum Nuzlocke. If you don't understand the rules by now, well, I can't really help you. Look them up or something, or just watch one of my other videos. But these Pokemon videos take kind of a little bit of long time to make, so if you could just hit that subscribe button real quick and just make sure you're subscribed, I would love that. But anyways, let's get into the video. Pokemon Platinum was not one of my main games as a kid. Actually, this is my first time ever playing Pokemon Platinum. I touched Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, so I didn't really have too much of a, understanding of the games, and I didn't really, know all the teams and all the spots. So it was definitely an eye-opening experience because it was a lot of random crap that I had to deal with because I didn't know the Pokemon too well. But as of course, I overcome all things, so let's just go ahead and jump straight in for the Nuzlocke video. I named myself Weasel, named my rival Paydens, and we go ahead and head up the route to go find our starter Pokemon. As I looked through all of the starters, I was honestly conflicted picking between Chimchar or Piplup, but I honestly felt that Chimchar was definitely the advantage. Firefighting's always a good type to have your team. So of course, our rival invites us to a battle and we absolutely kill him. Definitely not very close to death or anything, just starting off strong, We head up the lake to investigate some mystery legendary Pokemon, and we find this really weird blue guy talking about space and time, and everyone needs to die except for him and his cult, so something about that, definitely not going to be any important later on in the game. I picked up a Bidoof and named him the only thing appropriate for him because he's obviously the best Pokemon ever. I pick up the Roserade and I name her Rosie. Then I go ahead and start my rival encounter. Our rival doesn't have anything too much that's gonna be scary, so his Starly gets sent out and I send out my Chimchar, and Ember is too much for his Starly to handle, so of course I OHKO it. His Piplup comes out, so I send out my Roserade and I use Absorb on it pretty much till it dies, so an easy rival battle complete. I pick up a Shinx right after the rival battle and name him Bolt. I pick up a Psyduck and name him Quackers because that's the best name you could ever give a Psyduck. Rourke, being the first gym leader, isn't really scary, along with his entire team having a giant weakness of just water and or grass. So I send out my newly tamed Psyduck to use Water Gun, and it pretty much kills all of his Pokemon. Geodude goes down in an OHKO. Onix also goes down in another OHKO. Rourke tries to sit there and heal stall, but he has no power against my Psyduck and his Water Gun. Also, I feel like now is a good time to mention that all of this footage is sped up, by the way. This is on ×2 speed. Pokemon Platinum, or the 4th generation, runs so slowly it almost drove me insane this entire Nuzlocke. After receiving my first gym badge, feeling pretty good, I head back up the route and I meet Dawn to fight a couple of the Team Rocket grunts blocking my way, which both of them didn't have really any scary Pokemon, and most of my Pokemon were already pretty over leveled from the gym, so it was a pretty clean and easy sweep. Glameow goes down from her Turtwig, and then Stunky also goes down with Water Gun, defeating this encounter. As Team Galactic kidnaps some poor girl's dad, so I have to go retrieve the key and go back into the building. I fight another double battle here with a Stunky, which is no match to my Chimchar's Mach Punch. The second grunt went down almost just as easy because it was another easy fight. Zubat goes down with a singular spark and we're all able to move on with our lives. I went into this galactic fight thinking, oh, I'm not really going to worry about it, they're always so weak. But little did I know, she had an absolute tank waiting for me, but that doesn't happen just yet. So I switch back into Bolt, and then I'm going to go ahead and use a Spark to easily take down the Zubat. And as she switches into Purugly, I honestly knew I was kind of cooked after the first fake out, and I was honestly pretty shook that Purugly does that much damage. I had to switch into my Bidoof and then just hope Rollout was going to do enough damage over time to kill Purugly, and thankfully enough, living on 2 HP, was able to get the kill, but that didn't stop me from almost shitting myself. Heading into the Gardena fight, I knew I had the type advantage. Along with picking up that Zubat, I knew I was going to be able to crush her entire team, so I didn't really sweat it. Using my Golbat, I'm able to use Wing Attack to take out her Turtwig. Chimchar takes out the next Pokemon with Flame Wheel. No matter how much heal stalling she does with Roserade, she finally goes down with another Flame Wheel. I honestly thought at this point that the international police guy was actually part of Team Galactic, but he was actually like undercover or something really weird. I don't really know what happened, to be honest, but I was just trying to do a Pokemon Nuzlocke, so don't blame me, you know. So anyways, I go into another Team Galactic fight where I didn't take it too seriously again, but I was able to come out, you know, victoriously. I swear, if I had $1 for every Zubat in Team Galactic's like Pokemon inventory, I would be like Elon Musk dirty rich. Her Zubat goes down with a singular spark, and of course Skunk Tank comes out, so I have to put in my bulky tank to be able to finish it. Of course, again, very easily almost killed, but my Rosie unfortunately gets killed by an exploding Geodude, and I head in for my 3rd gym badge. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't figure out this was the 5th gym until like a little bit later than this. I honestly thought this was the 3rd gym, and I thought that was a crazy spike in the levels, but it shows that I don't know my Pokemon games that well. But Bite takes down her Duskull. My Bronzor comes out and is able to tank a Shadow Ball while putting it to sleep. And my 100%, you know, total high IQ play here pays off, putting it to sleep, and I'm able to switch into Bolt, and I'm able to use Crunch to fully take out her ace. And an easy sweep, because I know sometimes that Pokemon gives people trouble. I switch back into my Golbat for her Haunter, and am able to kill it again with Bite. Unknowing to me, I was just trying to move on to the next city. Barry comes up with another rival battle. Honestly, I wasn't really too prepared for this. I didn't even have my Pokemon in the right slot, so I had to switch into my Bolt for his Starvia, and able to take it out again with another Spark. I didn't really have any coverage for Ponyta, but I remembered that Bidoof learned Water Gun, so thankfully I was able to take it out. I take out the Roserade with Flame Wheel, and then I take out the Prinplup with another Spark from Bolt. Also, for some reason, he decided to save his Ponyta even though he knew he was going to get killed anyways. This gym was insanely easy, the 4th gym, or for my 4th gym badge, but in chronological order, it's actually the 3rd gym, but it doesn't make sense because it's the 4th gym it doesn't really matter, alright, it doesn't really matter. Anyways, I'm able to use Confusion, taking out the Meditate. Again, another confusion takes out the Machoke, which I had to tank a strength from. I was able to just slither by from that strength on 6 HP before she decided to switch into her Lucario, but I had to sacrifice Choppy here because I needed to heal up my Gardevoir, so sorry, first loss for Pokemon. My Gardevoir comes in, uses Confusion, and we're able to move on with our day with our 4th gym badge. My rival comes out of nowhere yet again for another freaking battle, but this time I was a little bit more prepared and I was able to use Spark to take down again his Starvia, which I think he should learn by now that he's gonna get his ass kicked. Alright, my Gummy Bear is able to almost take out the Ponyta, but this is where he keeps switching around. I had to switch in my Infernape, use Flame Wheel to take down Rosella, but it's definitely not like he's gonna go switch around his Pokemon, right? No. So I'm able to use Magical Leaf to take down the Prinlup. And saving his Ponyta again, I'm finally able to take it out with Water Pulse and move on with my day because he keeps ambushing me out of the most random place. I swear, this is the worst rival. Now I'm at the 4th gym, which is really, no, this is the 5th gym, which is really the 4th. This is so confusing. I don't really care. All right, the water gym. All right, we're at the water gym. Bolt's able to take down his Gyarados using a single Thunder, which thankfully he hit because I felt like I would have got crushed by his Gyarados if that didn't hit. Magical Leaf comes in quad effective against his Quagsire, so of course it's an easy O-code to take it out. Gardevoir tries to take out Floatzel, but I had no clue it had Crunch, I'm gonna be honest, so sorry, we lost her too. Unfortunately, having to pay for my ignorance, I was able to take Floatzel out with a Thunder, receiving the 4th gym badge, but I kinda miss Gardevoir. Cynthia sends me to go save her grandmother from the really weird guy from the lake, but his Pokemon are pretty weak, so I'm able to do it. A Mach Punch takes out his Sneasel. Luxray comes out and is able to use Spark to kill his Golbat. Drill Peck does more than enough damage. I don't know why Drill Peck does that much damage, but I threw a random Blizzard, able to take out his Murkrow, and that was just kind of lucky, I'm not gonna lie. But he yells at me something about the galaxy, and I save, the champion's grandmother. And yet again, just trying to go to the gym badges, Barry just shows up across the bridge. With the same team he's been getting his ass kicked with. So of course I use Thunder to OHKO his Staraptor, which you should have learned by now, it's not gonna work, alright? This time, I'm finally able to OHKO the Rapidash, that way it can't run away and hide from me at the back of his party. So take that, Barry, take it! Fire Blitz is able to OHKO the Roserade, and we move on to his next mod. Up next was his Empoleon, and I'm going to be completely honest, I completely forgot Steel was weak to electricity, so I didn't know it was quad effective, but I was able to easily take down his Empoleon. And his Heracross comes out, and a Fire Blitz is completely able to roast it alive. Just trying to get my gym badges done, I have to deal with all the bullcrap with Team Galaxy or whatever the hell first. So I go over to the lake and I have to defeat this commander and that commander, the whole ordeal. So of course, naturally, I OHKO almost all of their mons. So Luxray comes out, Easy Thunder takes out another Golbat. Again, I'm just saying, if I would be like Jeff Bezos dirty rich for how many Golbats and Zubats they have. With a quad effective extra sensory, Toxicroak goes down like a literal leaf and fall. It was so easy. Fire Blitz is able to completely melt Bronzor, so I'm able to move on with my life. Oh, except, wait, no, I gotta go to another lake with another Team Galaxy Galacta Commander, Supreme Leader, whatever the hell. I was really trying to just push it through because the story literally made no sense. I don't really care about it. But I used Spark to take down the Golbat. You know, the 7th million Golbat they have. I'm just saying, it's a lot of Golbats, dude. And then I'm able to abuse my attack stat and able to use Crunch for Bronzor to be able to kill it. And then Harambe comes out, able to use Close Combat on her Purugly, because if I didn't OHKO it, I'm not going to lie, I probably would have died, because that was just one attack move that I has my Harambe at 46 HP. I'm not going to lie. And here's where I messed up the footage, because the Steel type was supposed to be before all of the, lakes, but we're not going to talk about it. All right, here's the footage for it. So Fire Blast takes out the Magneton. And then Gummy Bear is able to come in and using a Surf OHKOing Steelix because it gets absolutely wrecked in every single generation. And not even gonna lie, ever since Harambe learned Close Combat, no Pokemon has literally had a single chance because it's almost OHKOing every Pokemon it's weak to. Because Close Combat's probably one of the greatest moves, at least for me, that I love, probably one of the greatest moves. I didn't really have anything too crazy for Candace. I was really going to just try to rely on Harambe for most of it, which, of course, I naturally did. So taking it out with a Mach Punch, Sneasel goes down in an OHKO. Gummy Bear comes out and it's able to take out the Piloswine with a Surf while also being able to, almost die. As Abomasnow comes out, I was a little bit worried, but I was easily able to OHKO it because it was quad weak to fire, so that was a pretty easy mon to take down. But the problem was Hail, right? But I was able to switch in my Bronzong, get off a lucky Hypnosis, put it to sleep, switch back in Harambe, and use another Flare Blitz to be able to OHKO Frostlass, gaining me the next gym badge. I was trying to figure out where to go next, and it genuinely took me 20 minutes to find this Cyrus fight because it was low-key kind of tucked away, but I was able to take out his Sneasel with a couple of Sparks. Again, for his Crobat, able to use another Spark, able to take out his Crobat because that thing was low-key kind of a tank, I'm not gonna lie. Then his Honchkrow comes out, able to hit off a Lucky Thunder, able to OHKO it. And then another Golbat, Golbat, I'm just saying, Spark takes it out. And of course, Bronzor comes out and I'm able to use Fire Blitz, able to OHKO it. And then, of course, a very lucky Extrasensory takes it out in one hit. Able to defeat Cyrus and hopefully move on, but no, it's just another Team Galactic conspiracy theory because we're gonna have to go head up Mount Pyre where I fight more of them. And for some reason, Barry, he's back and he's gonna help, air quotes, help out with this double battle, even though most of his Pokemon are the absolute weakest things I have ever seen. Being forced to carry this double battle, I'm able to take out the Bronzor in one hit, which I switch into my Luxray for a Spark to kill his Golbat, even though, his Munchlax is just sitting over there doing absolutely nothing. I again switch in my Gummy Bear. His Staraptor comes in and uses Close Combat to kill the first Pokemon of, hers. Not going to say anything though. But of course, Mudbomb takes out Skuntank and we're able to move to the next Pokemon. Thankfully enough, all of their Pokemon just kept killing all of my rivals, so it was pretty easy. We just kind of swept through the battle, able to use all my Pokemons to switch in and switch out for a very easy W over this very stressful double battle. Something galaxy in space, I don't really know. And then I get put into the distortion world, which honestly, this was my first time seeing this, even though I watch a lot of Pokemon Nuzlocke videos, but I genuinely had fun exploring this world because it was really cool because this is like the first time I've ever seen this in a Pokemon game, And of course, All that happiness ends because I have to fight Cyrus again, even though he got dogged on by Cynthia, and he turns around and decides to fight me, I guess. His Houndoom hit like a freaking truck, but Surf was able to take it out. His Gyarados comes out, and thankfully I was able to tank an entire Earthquake, which honestly when I first saw Earthquake I thought I was about to die, but thankfully I got a lucky Thunder off, able to OHKO the Gyarados. Infernape, the absolute GOAT, comes out and is able to close combat the Weevil, also OHKOing it because close combat's the best move in Pokemon. After some heal stalling from him, I was finally able to take down the Crobat, and then my Garchomp comes in for his Honchkrow using Dragon Claw, able to finally take him down, and we're able to move on. See, the Supreme Lord of Space and Time, and isn't that what this game's? I don't really know. I kind of really skipped all the dialogue, and it was really slow. I'm just saying, all this footage is completely sped up, by the way. I just want you to know that Generation 4 is just that slow. Anyways, I catch Giratina. I try to move on, thinking I'll never see my rival again, but here we go. I'm about to go to the Elite Four, and guess who comes out of the shadows out of nowhere? But of course, his team this time was again a joke. I'm able to take out the Roserade with a Flame Wheel. Also, just want to say this, his U-turn Staraptor was annoying as hell. I had to keep switching out Pokemon. Also, my Bidoof dies here because I completely forgot it was in my party. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't ready for the Elite Four. But then I used Gummy Bear, able to use Waterfall, which was probably the best move for Gummy Bear because it's a high attack stat, takes out the Rapidash. Snorlax went to sleep and was never waking up because my Garchomp used Crunch on him and was able to kill him. Then his Staraptor finally came back out, and I was able to use Dragon Pulse to take it out because he kept avoiding me with that U-turn, but I finally got him. His Heracross low-key kind of bit the curb with a quad effective fly from my Crobat. And then using my Garchomp, I used Dig to just barely take out the Empoleon. And finally, after that very rude interruption, I'm able to move on to the Elite Four, where everything actually matters because this Elite Four apparently is really hard. Now, a lot of people talked up the Elite Four, so I was kind of nervous for this. So I was trying to outplay all of them. So using Fly with my Crobat to take out his first Mon. I switch into Garchomp, having to resort to a bunch of dragon moves to take out his Drapion, which I was luckily enough able to do. His Heracross able to be taken out with another Fly. I'm just saying, they're getting easily killed, I'm just saying. But anyways, Fire Blitz takes out the Vespian Queen, which I didn't even know that was a Pokemon. I feel like that's the one from the Honey Tree, I think. And then his Scizor comes out, and honestly, another fire move, and Scizor goes down because all of them could have probably been swept just by Harambe. A lot of people hyped up the Elite Four, so it was going a lot easier than I expected it to be, but there's always something gonna go wrong, but we'll get to that later. Whiscash comes in, and I'm able to use Waterfall, getting rid of it, but not taking a lot of damage. Nickel comes in, able to kill off the Gliscor, which was a scary Pokemon because it had Earthquake on that thing. And then I was able to use Close Combat on the Golem, which obviously didn't stand a chance because I don't know why anyone ever uses Golem outside of Generation 1. That's just... Anyways, I use Dragon Rush to take down the Hippowdon, which I didn't even know that was a Pokemon. And then Rhyperior comes out, which took one Close Combat, but this one was very lucky. I must have got a high damage roll on this one, I'm not gonna lie. I honestly only put Nickel on the team solely just because of Flint's entire team, and oh my god, did this fight go so easy. It was honestly almost laughable. With its high attack stat, Waterfall was an absolute sledgehammer to these guys. Houndoom goes down in an Oko. And then the Infernape also goes down in an Oko with a singular waterfall. I honestly thought that low-key I was tripping or that I was missing some part, but waterfall really is just that good. His high attack stat, and I was thankfully fast enough to beat Rapidash, able to take Rapidash out with a singular waterfall. And, you know, just saying, another singular waterfall takes out the Magmortar, which honestly I kind of forgot that was evolution. With the last waterfall, Flareon falls and we're able to move on to the last Elite Four. I was going through my Pokemon's movesets, realizing I honestly had nothing, till I remember I had the Shadow Claw TM, and I also had, you know, Garchomp. So pretty much a sweep, you know, singular Oko for Mr. Mime from a Shadow Claw. An almost Oko, almost able to take it out, but his sidekick from Espeon was a tank. Bronzong comes out and I'm able to Shadow Claw it also while having to heal stall because that thing also hit like a tank. Alakazam, another freaking tank with its psychics. I'm able to take it down with the Oko. Then this is where my nickel fell because I kind of had to heal, you know, Garchomp. So kind of feel sorry for that, but you know, it all worked out in the end because Gallade fell pretty easily and I was at full health, which I should have just remembered I was going to outspeed. Now as we move into the Cynthia fight, I honestly had so much high expectations for this one because all I see are people talking her up. So I really wanted to see if I was going to wipe to her, but Dragon Rush takes out the Spiritomb and a very, very lucky low hitting Earthquake hits me as I use Blizzard to Oko her Garchomp, which people like literally freak out about, just saying. Got lucky. Infernape comes out and Roserade doesn't stand a chance. I'm just like, it literally doesn't compared to Infernape's attack stat. Garchomp comes out, able to use Dragon Claw, taking out her Milotic, which was an insanely easy Pokemon to beat. Togekiss came out, and I really wasn't that worried. I honestly thought it was a Psychic type, so I kept using Payback. Infernape comes out, and Lucario, again, doesn't stand a chance. And Cynthia went down way easier than I ever thought she should be able to. And just like that, I finished my Pokemon Platinum Nuzlocke. I honestly thought the Elite Four was maybe a little bit too hyped up. Along with Cynthia, I felt like, honestly, if I didn't hit that very lucky Blizzard, I might have had a little bit of problems, so I can honestly see where all the freak out about, because if you don't have a good cover for her Garchomp, you're probably gonna get absolutely just rocked, I'm not gonna lie. But thank you very much for watching. Any comments down below will be there, very welcomed. Maybe a new harder ROM hack if anyone has some suggestions, or another Nuzlocke, or maybe anything you want to put down in the comments. Very much appreciate it. I hope that y'all are having a good day, good Friday. Since it's Friday, I'm posting this video. Y'all have a safe weekend, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see y'all boys in the next video. Peace.